Hello and welcome to the newest video. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thank you. This video, we are going to be doing a thriller reading vlog. I'm so excited for this episode. My best friend, Kelly, is a super duper thriller reader. She loves a thriller book. It's her favorite thing in the entire world. And she's recently got back into reading over the last few months, which I'm so happy for her. I'm so excited. We both became new moms around the same time. And I obviously decided I was going to get back into reading and find something that I could do that would keep me as me and not just a mom. And I'm glad that it's trickled into her life for her as well. And it seems to be helping her as well. And like she's enjoying herself and she's found something that she can hold on to for herself. And I think that's really the whole point of why I started this. And one of the things that I really recommend for moms, dads, whoever, if you're worried or if you're feeling like you don't have anything for you, find something that you enjoy and find the time. There is a way. It may not be perfect and it may not be that you're reading 8 books in a month. Maybe you get to read 1 book every 2 months, you know? But finding something that you can have for yourself so that your whole personality and your whole life doesn't just get devoted to your child. It's a lovely thing to have a kid, right? And they're amazing and great and wonderful and all the cool things, but you also matter and you're also important. And I think this is my outlet and this is my thing that makes me feel good and gives me purpose for something outside of being a mom and a wife and an employee. So anyway, all that to say, my best friend also reads thriller books. So this whole video is basically dedicated to her and reading some thriller books, 2 of them in which I know that she's read already. And then 1 of them I don't think she's read, but I already own and I would love to read. So without rambling for too long, let's look at our books that we're going to be reading. Our first book that we're going to be reading is You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Jennifer Rose. First things first, stop putting stickers on books. Anyway. This book is one that I've owned for a while. I believe I picked this up after I had read Home is Where the Body Is by Jennifer Rose, and I believe I read another book by her. And I was like, I really like her writing. I think she's a good writer. I want to read some more books. And reading the synopsis for this thriller book sounded so interesting. The premise of this book is we're following, I believe her name is Grace. Yes, we're following Grace as she's going on a vacation, and she's taking a vacation to a remote town, a remote area, a very small town. And she got an Airbnb with this guy. His name is Calvin. Calvin runs an Airbnb on his little farm, and he's going to be there because he's running a farm at the same time. But Grace is going to stay there, and she's supposed to stay for a week. And that's pretty much the general premise, but Calvin and Grace fall into like with each other, and I think that's a real loose term. Spoiler alert, I have started reading this already, but they discover that they do like each other. She finds him very attractive, he finds her very attractive, so they're like very into each other from the beginning. And essentially we discover at a certain point in the book that a girl has gone missing, and she was supposed to have been staying at Calvin's Airbnb. She never arrived to his Airbnb, and the cops have come and they've investigated and they're asking some questions while Grace is there. And the girl never showed up. She never came to the Airbnb. There's proof that she never arrived at the Airbnb, but this girl is missing, and that's just kind of like a whole through line. So yeah, we basically are just following Grace and Calvin on this week vacation and what she gets into, what he gets into, and just how that all plays out. The second book we'll be reading, this is a book that she has not read. So Kelly, my friend, has already read You Shouldn't Have Come Here. She started this past week and she finished this on Sunday, I believe. The next book is 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. She has not read this book, but I already own this one because I was really into A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Just background, I like Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I did not like the second book. And another spoiler alert, I'm thinking from what my friend told me about You Should Not Have Come Here that I might not like that one because of the same reasons. We'll get into that in a little while. But anyway, I want to read 5 Survive. I've owned this one for a while. Again, this is a Holly Jackson, who is the author of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. And this book, we're basically following 5 friends on a road trip for spring break. There's 8 hours, or sorry, we're following 6 friends. They're on a road trip for 8 hours. They There's 6 friends, but only 5 of them are going to survive by the end of this book. So I'm very excited. That premise sounds really cool. I believe from the little bit, this is a book that I have started in the past. I believe from the little bit that I've read, yes, it takes us hour by hour, so it breaks it out into hour sections. I'm excited for that. There's a map of the car, there's a whole bunch going on here. Very excited for this one. It sounds like it's gonna be very interesting. I love the premise of we have all these people who's not gonna make it to the end. That just sounds so good to me. And then the final book we're gonna be reading, Kelly has also read A Flicker in the Dark by Stacy Willingham. I have had this on my shelf for forever. This was a 2022 Book of the Month finalist. I believe I got this probably in 23 or 24, but essentially for A Flicker in the Dark, we're following Chloe. She was 12 years old when 6 teenagers went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father has confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving her and the rest of her family grappling with the truth and trying to move forward with dealing with the aftermath. 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist and she's getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing and then another, that terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there, or for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? This was a debut novel by Stacy Willingham, and from what I've heard, it was it is a very everyone loves this book kind of book. Like I said, Kelly has read this one, so I'm very excited to read this and get her thoughts on it. I am considering, she messaged me this morning or yesterday, basically saying that she would love to be a part of this video in some way, so that we could review the 2 books that she has read that I'm reading. And I think that would be really fun. So I'm gonna try and find a way to incorporate her into this video. We might just do a FaceTime thing where y'all get to sit with us while we talk about the 2 books and kind of just see our 2 perspectives on it. But I do think I'm going to incorporate her in this book because, again, this video is pretty much dedicated to her, and the whole reason I'm doing it is because of her. So yeah, all that to say, those are the books that we have picked out for this week. I'm very excited, and without rambling too much, let's get into the video. As I mentioned, I have already started this book. I am 58% of the way in. I did not expect to get that far. I literally started this yesterday night. It's gripping. It's very intriguing. I have to take the sticker off. Sorry, y'all, because these stickers irritate the crap out of me. I hate that they put them, why put them on the front? You could put a sticker on that tells me it's 20% off. Put it beside this price tag. Because at the end of the day, that's the part I gotta look at anyway to know how much this book is gonna cost me. Oh, and it's been on here for so long, it's tearing. Bane of my existence. I didn't expect to have read so much of this already, but I'm really, really enjoying this book. It's very interesting. It kicks off and it goes. It gets started and we run. Again, we're following Grace. Her name's Grace Evans. She's a girl from New York. She lives in New York and she decides that she needs to get away from her busy life. She wants to go to this Airbnb and she wants to read books and relax and just take time away from her job. She finds the owner very handsome. His name's Calvin, like I said, and he wants to introduce her to his way of life. But Grace discovers that she's not too pleased about the lack of cell phone service, a missing woman, and a feeling that something just isn't right with this place. And we do kind of learn in the beginning that there are a few things that have happened. We don't get full stories, but we get snippets of information. And we're learning little bits at a time throughout the book. We meet Calvin's brother in this book. He has a neighbor friend who's a mom to him. And then we have a best friend that we meet as well of his. So those are some of the main characters, and his brother. We meet his brother as well. And those are some of the main characters that we're introduced to, not only from Calvin's perspective, but also Grace. Grace meets one of his friends, Charlotte or something like that. So we meet her, we meet I think her name's Betty or Betsy, I can't even remember. His mother-like figure in his life. We meet his brother, cannot remember his name for the life of me. So we get to meet a few different people in this story, but we only get 2 POVs. We have Grace's POV and Calvin's POV. And ultimately, like I said, the book starts off with Grace is getting gas and she's suspicious of the gas attendant. He's creeping her out. And so she books it out of there before she finishes getting her gas, which was very interesting. It just seems like she's very suspicious of people in general. She just seems like a very suspicious person. of others. She seems like she doesn't trust anyone and she can find a reason to distrust everyone. It's very interesting, like the concept. So that's kind of like where Grace is at. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a red herring to like throw us off of what's supposed to be happening here. I will say, having read through 58% of this book, I have an inkling of what's happening and what's going on and the situation. From the review that Kelly gave me of this book, I already know her rating for it. She's already told me what she's rated this, but I'll save that for when we like meet to talk about it together. But she did tell me like basically her thought process on this book, and the thing I had alluded to in the intro is that this is a very similar ending to how I felt about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder 2, Good Girl, Bad Blood. In that book specifically, the ending, we never, ever, ever would have guessed what was happening. There was no inkling, no information, no anything that ever gave us the idea that the person that we were suspecting was the person we were suspecting, because they were never mentioned in that book. Literally never. There was no way we would have ever known that the ending for that book was supposed to be that ending. I don't like that. And I only say that because I don't want a book to be too obvious. I don't want it to like give me everything, but I also don't want you to give me all of this information and then we get to the last like few chapters and you just throw in a random person that we've never talked about and never heard from and had no inkling about at the end. And they're like, oh, this is the person who did it. What do you mean? I don't like that. That actually pisses me off. And that's one of the reasons I gave Good Girl, Bad Blood such a terrible review, because it just infuriated me that we went through all of this. It's a whodunit and we're trying to figure out who done it. And we never would have guessed that person. There's no way you would have gotten that idea that that person, nonetheless, the concept was what was happening. Like it never would have happened. I think the concept was mentioned once in that book and that person was introduced once in that book, but not in any kind of suspicious manner, not in any way that we would have ever put them on a list of people that we might suspect. So I don't know, very interesting. But she's saying that this book, we don't find out what's really going on until the last like 2 or 3 chapters. So I'm worried about it because I'm worried that it's going to be something similar to that. I don't know if it is, but that's the vibe I get, because if we don't find out until the last 2 or 3 chapters what's going on, and it just gets crazy at that point, that makes me, that's like, just based on what she told me, it just makes me think that it's going to be something like that. And if it is, that makes me very worried because I don't like books like that. But so far, like I said, I am enjoying it. I will also say this book, in a weird way, kind of is like a toxic romance, which is crazy because like, she's been at this ranch. She's only going to be there for a week. That's how long her stay is supposed to be. A whole week. At this point, we're on what day is it? Day 6, I think? Yeah. So I'm at day 6. She's been here for 6 days at the point that I'm reading. And the romance feels weird. It's so strange to me. I know I mentioned in my last video, I read the Rachel Harrison books. And one of those books, Play Nice, the main character meets someone, and on the second time of meeting him, they're having a full-on sex experience. And I said in that video, no shame. You can have one night stands all you want to. You can do whatever you want to. No shame here. But for this book, it's weird because you're suspicious of people. You're inherently suspicious of people, and yet and still, you're trying to get hot and heavy with your Airbnb host. You're so suspicious of everyone, and you think everyone's doing something terrible, and yet you're willing to jump in this man's pants? Can you make that make sense to me? Because that don't make sense to me. If someone's a red flag to me, I'm not about to hop on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to give them everything I got. That don't make any sense to me. So the idea that she's like, I don't know, something seems off, something seems suspicious, I'm very worried, except I'm gonna go sleep with him. I'm gonna make out with him and I'm gonna rub up on him and I'm gonna have my favorite, best time, even though I'm very worried about everything he tells me and I believe none of the things he's talking about. Like, doesn't make sense. So again, no shame. If you wanna hook up with your Airbnb host, that's all you. That's your business. That don't have nothing to do with me. But if you're gonna sit here and tell me that your Airbnb host is out here like, and this is not what's happening, but like he's out here slapping women in the face and running over animals in the street, and then you're like, oh, that seems so weird and suspicious and dangerous and I don't know. And then you're like, and then I put my booty on him. Girl, what? Like, no. Just no. And that's, sorry, no. Sorry. Have more respect for yourself. That's how I feel. Anyway, I'm enjoying this so far. It's doing a lot. It's going a lot of places. Also, some of the side characters are extremely rude. Like, when you think of a small town, and maybe it's a Southern thing, right? Maybe that's just me being a Southern person. When I think of a small town, people aren't like meet you off the bat rude to you, right? We're the types of people who go play in your face, for better or worse, and be like, oh, sweetheart, it's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for coming. And then behind your back, we all gonna be standing around the kitchen sink with our iced teas going, girl, did y'all see her? Why is she here? Who brought her? But this is set, I believe it's set in Wyoming, I think is where it's supposed to be set. Yeah, in Wyoming. So that's not the South. So maybe that's why these people are behaving in such a manner. But they're like in her face telling her like, you don't belong here. Mind your business. Stay in your lane. And like, to a point, I'm like, yes, I agree with you. It is none of her business. And why is she bringing it up? But at the same time, I'm like, damn, that's rude as hell. You don't even know this girl. But she is up in some people's business that she has no right to be in. And so it's a dichotomy of things, but that's how I feel. So I don't know, it's going interestingly, but I am suspicious. I got suspicions about certain people in this book and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Part of me feels, this is not a spoiler because I don't know the ending. This is me just like off the dome. I think it'd be really interesting if it turns out that, because this seems like the type of book, I think there was something that they said in here. Despite her unease, the two bond and start to fall for one another. However, as her departure date nears, things change for the worse. What began as a playful romance soon turns into a complicated web of lies. Grace grows weary of Calvin as his infatuation for her seems to have morphed to obsession. Calvin fears that Grace is hiding something from him, including her reason for staying at his ranch to begin with. Vacation flings typically end in heartbreak, but for Grace and Calvin, it'll be far more destructive. And so hearing that last part of the synopsis really makes me think, and there's not really much that's inclining me to believe that other than this silly synopsis on the back, to believe that that's what's going on. It's very interesting. I am enjoying it. So I will probably finish this today because this is really, really good and I'm very much enjoying it. And then we'll move on from this to 5 Survive and then end on Flicker in the Dark. Kelly told me I should end on Flicker in the Dark. That's a superior book to her. So that's what we'll end on. And we'll kick it off with this. Once I do finish, I think I am going to try and find a way for her and I to like do a review talk about this book that I can include in this video, because I want to like be able to review it with her and just talk about it with her and get her thoughts. So we'll see. I don't know when that's going to happen. That might not happen in chronological order, but with that, the day is new and it's time to work. It is Monday. Unfortunately, we have work to do. So I don't really have a lot going on otherwise. I'm very tired. My body is very tired. My body is achy and I want to just sit down and cuddle up. I have on jeans. I don't know if y'all can see that, and I don't want to have on jeans. I don't want to have on anything that I have on actually right now. I really want to put on some sweatpants and some house shoes or some fuzzy socks, put on a little fuzzy coat and sit my ass on the couch. But it's Monday and that means it's work day and that means we got stuff to do. Also, I only dress like this, one, for the videos because I want to make sure I look presentable, but also because I have to take my daughter to school and pick her up from school and I don't want to pop up at the daycare in sweatpants and a baggy t-shirt. I like to be a little bit presentable for the public masses, so that's why I have on full clothes. Best believe when I get her home from school and y'all see me this afternoon in my B-roll clips of me finishing up this book, I'm gonna be wearing sweatpants and a baggy t-shirt because I don't want to wear this. I mean, the shirt's fine. This shirt's like nice and loose or whatever, but I don't want to be wearing these jeans. I'm literally only wearing them because appearances. Anyway, none of that is necessary. I'm gonna go. Y'all have a good rest of the day. I hope you're having a good week. Again, if you're new here, join me. I hope that you like this video and that you subscribe and come along, follow along. I'll see y'all later. As you saw, I just finished You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. First of all, it's not Geneva. I keep saying Geneva, and it's Geneva. My bad. Y'all. I have to say it. There was going to be a clip about me talking about a certain theory that I had for this book. I'm removing it during editing. You won't have seen it because it was a huge spoiler and I didn't realize because I'm too good. This is why I don't read thrillers, okay? This is why I don't read them because I know what's happening. I already understand it. I already see what's happening. Now, to be clear, while I did know what was going on in this book, I guessed it correctly. At the same time, the details I wasn't aware of. So it was still, oh yeah, okay, I know what's happening here, while also being like, oh my God, what the F is happening here? This was fun. I had more fun than I thought I would. I'm not a big thriller reader because I'm just, they're too easy to guess. But I will say Geneva Rose, she's funny, okay? One, I do follow her on Instagram and I watch her do her like spinning, twirling little series that she does going to sign books at her, whatever bookstore near her. She'll sign like every book in a store where she's near. She's a funny person. I can tell that she's a funny person. I can tell that her husband is a funny man. They just seem like goofy, funny people. And I can tell based on this book. I can tell that she has like a silly bone in her body. It's so good. Is this messed up? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, it's messed up. But it's also kind of funny. It's also kind of funny. And to be quite honest with you, if you've ever read or watched any horror, thriller, murder, mystery type of thing, I don't think that you'll be too shocked by this. If you're like a true, like, this is your thing and this is what you do. I don't think that it's too twisty or too unexpected in my opinion, but I do think that it's still very fun. If you've not read it, I do think you should read it. I do recommend it. I just had a good time. I had such a good time with this. I do want to do like a review piece with my friend Kelly because we both have different opinions about this book. Now that I've finished it, we definitely have different opinions. I think for her, the ending didn't work. For me, the ending was great. I very much enjoyed it. I knew it was coming, so that wasn't surprising to me, but the way that it ended was so fun to me. I loved it. This is not what I thought it was going to be based on her explanation, and her explanation was spoiler free. So like she was trying to explain to me what she was trying to explain without telling me the details. So I'm excited to talk to her more in depth about this with you guys, or on here in this video with so y'all can see like our differing thoughts. As someone who, I'm not a big thriller reader, but I am a big horror reader, and so some of the tropes are similar. And she is a big thriller reader. I will say that she's newer into reading thrillers over the last year, but she is like, that's all she reads. All she reads is murder mystery thrillers. So I'm happy. I'm glad that I got to read this. I had a good time. I am going to probably start the audiobook now for 5 Survive. I'm excited for that one. I'm so excited for that one. I'm excited to get into it. I don't have the book with me physically or I'd be holding it up, but you know, it is what it is. Today's been a tough one. I'm tired and I think I'm gonna go to bed here in a minute. I was planning on playing my video game for a little while, but it's already 9:30 and I am very tired. I'm tired. Y'all don't need to know the details. Just know that I'm tired, okay? So I don't know. I might start the next one. I might not. I was thinking I might, but it's 9:30 and I would like to go to bed in the like next 30 minutes. I need to take my magnesium so I can be sleepy and go to bed because your girl's tired. See? I'm fighting myself and I don't need to. I just need to give in and go to bed. So I am proud of myself that I finished this in probably around 24 hours at this point. This was fun. This was so fun. Again, if you've never read it, I do recommend it. I think it was fun. I had a good time. I don't really have much to say because I can't spoil anything. But it was everything I expected and nothing that I expected at all. This was fun. I see you. I do want to read Geneva's other book. There's a series that she has, The Perfect Marriage and The Perfect Divorce. Kelly has read The Perfect Marriage and she really liked that one and she thought that one was more superior than this one. And she didn't rate this one very highly. So I'm curious to read that one. It is free on Libby right now. A lot of Geneva's books are like free on the Libby library card that I have right now for some reason. So I might throw that one in at some point if I can. I don't know. We're going to see. But this was fun and I had a good time. So I'm ready to move on to Holly Jackson and 5 Survive. You shouldn't have come here. What am I going to rate this? I had such a good time with it. The ending set it off for me. Again, I expected the ending. The ending wasn't a surprise to me, but the details were a surprise to me. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. I think I'm going to give this 5 stars. I'm just feeling it. It feels like a 5-star to me. I had so much fun. It's like, it's a romance, but it's not a romance. There's smut in here, but it's not too smutty. It's a murder mystery, but it's not. It's a thriller. It's a horror because the stories are horrifying. It's everything. It was so, okay, yeah. I convinced myself. It's a 5-star. That was a 5-star book for me, which is crazy, like I said, in comparison to what my best friend rated this. But I had so much fun. It's a vibe and it's a feeling, okay? I've said it and I'll say it again. A 5-star is a vibe and a feeling, and this is a vibe and a feeling, and it was a 5-star for me. I really liked it. Oh, I had so much fun. That was fun. That was a fun read. I ate it up and it was fun, and I'm appreciative of that. So, like I said, next audiobook is 10 Hours, Humpst Ever. I always listen to my audiobooks a little bit faster than the speed that it has. So with the speed up, this is going to be like a 6-hour audiobook. So I'll probably finish Five Survive tomorrow. Again, I don't think I'm going to start it tonight. I don't want to, honestly. I don't, because I won't stop listening to it. I know that I won't, but it's a 6-hour audiobook. So I'll probably finish it tomorrow, and then we'll be able to jump into a Flicker in the Dark, which I have to get to quickly because the audio book that I have on hold is about to expire and someone's waiting for it. So I need to jump on that, but I want to read that one last. So those are my updates. Thanks for coming along on this journey. This one, I feel like this is really hard because I feel like I can't give too much of a review on the book without spoiling things, because it's a thriller. It's hard to tell what's happening in a thriller without spoiling it. But I explained everything that was on the synopsis in the back. It was good. It was just good. So anyway, I'll see y'all in the morning. Bye. All right, everybody. This is my best friend, Kelly.
Hi!
We're going to be reviewing You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. I keep saying her name wrong. So as I've mentioned in the video, this is Kelly. She's my best friend. We've been best friends since middle school, and she's very obsessed with thrillers, as y'all have heard, and that's like her genre of book that she loves reading. Me, I'm not a thriller reader. So I'm specifically doing this video for her, reading some books that she's already read and books that she enjoyed, and books she might not have enjoyed. So we'll kind of jump into it. The first book we're going to talk about is You Shouldn't Have Come Here. There will be spoilers in this version, so I will put my little spoiler alert on the video whenever we start talking about those, but otherwise we can jump right into it. To start us off, I want to talk about ratings, and I want to talk about your rating because by the time they've seen this, they already know what my rating was, but I want to hear what your rating was.
I would give this book a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like you didn't really know anything till like the last 3 chapters, and it got like super intense in the last 3 chapters, and a lot of the beginning chapters, you were kind of just like, okay, that's weird, and you were just kind of like going through the motions. But yeah, so.
That's cool. I actually rated this 5 stars.
Did you? Wow. That's interesting.
I think the reason I rated it 5 stars was because I really enjoyed the book overall. I thought that it was very entertaining and it kept me engaged. I think that I read it pretty quickly and I was just kind of like eating it up the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I did not like some of it because I did kind of predict the ending and I kind of had an idea that that's what was happening. But the way that they like explained the ending and how much explanation she gave of like what was going on exactly, like I loved that part. And so I thought that was really cool and I really appreciated that part. And so I think that's why it was a feeling in the moment. I was like, this is 5 stars. It's just a feeling. It's a vibe. And you know, if you know. So that was my rating.
That's fair. It did keep you engaged for sure. Like, I was definitely like, I could not stop reading the book. Like, if you want an intense book to just like dive in and you're like hungry to get more, that's the book. Yeah. I liked the ending, but I was also like, that's it. That was the whole thing. So I was just like, I don't know what I was expecting, to be honest.
I mean, I get it. I think that's fair. I don't think that's an accurate description either, because I think that as far as like, we did all of this build up and that's the ending, because I will say that the like final scene before we sort everything out and really figure out what's going on, I think that final scene was kind of like a little underwhelming in a way that it kind of went by so quickly, but I still thought it was
exactly.
good.
I was like, yeah.
All right. So I think from here on, we're probably going to be in spoiler territory. So this is your warning now. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip ahead. So now I want to talk about just the book as a whole, talking about like the characters, if you liked the characters or not. So our main characters obviously being Grace and Calvin, but then we also had Calvin's brother. We had, I think her name was Betty or Beck. I don't remember.
Betty, the one that was like a second mom to him, was Betty.
Yes, Betty. And then Charlotte, that everybody calls Char, was the girlfriend of his best friend Wyatt, who was the cop. I'm trying to remember all these people's names.
The girlfriend slash ex-girlfriend, but yeah.
Yeah. And then I think that was, we meet, was his name Arthur? Is that
Arthur.
right?
Oh, the uncle?
Yes. The uncle,
I
not
think his name
uncle.
yeah,
Random
the
drunk
uncle not.
man.
Yeah, literally. I think it was Arthur, yeah. Uncle
Albert.
Arthur? Albert.
Albert.
I was like, Uncle Arthur. That didn't sound right.
Albert. It was Albert.
Yeah, Albert.
I clearly really remember this book for a 5-star rating. So I think that was pretty much all of the characters we meet. And then we have the cop. We also meet the cop. I don't remember what his
Yeah,
name
the
was.
detective or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. So, of all the characters, did you have a favorite character? Did you have a least favorite character? It's fair if they were all your least favorite character, but just curious.
I think I want to say Grace was probably my favorite character. She was the one kind of narrating. Well, it jumped back and forth between both of them, but I think I liked her commentary and everything more than his.
Yeah.
Like her detail explaining.
I think if I had to, I don't, did I like any of the characters?
Like, to me, his narration was more creepy than hers was.
I don't think I liked any of them because I felt like, well, one, we kind of learned that all of the people in this book are kind of weird and toxic. Like, there's something weird going on with every single individual person. And because it's like that small town vibe, it's very much like they're, I don't know, they're just doing crazy stuff. They're living small town wild lives and just like everybody's in everybody's business. Everybody knows everybody's information. Everybody's sleeping with everyone or not sleeping with anyone. And it's just like, I feel like there's just like a lot of that.
What it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I really liked any of the characters. I think the character development was good though. I think that the way that she like describes them and explains them and has them like narrating themselves and things like that. I think that she did a really good job with that.
Yeah.
I think Geneva does a like really good job with characters in general. I think I've only read one other book by her. I can't really remember. But the other book I read by her I liked relatively well.
Which one was that?
Home is Where the Bodies Are.
Oh, you did tell me about that one, yeah. The other one I read by her was The Perfect Marriage and then The Perfect Divorce.
I was going to potentially try and read that one for this video as well, but I'm not going to have time, so womp womp. Yeah. But I might read it in another video because I have other thriller books that I need to read anyway. Okay, so now moving to what was your favorite parts or your least favorite parts of the book, if you have any?
Let me see. One of my favorite parts was, I feel like it was just all the intense parts, which, for example, whenever he was like lighting the house on fire or not with the curtains, I was like, oh my God, what is about to happen? Like, is he about to just kill her? And whenever she went to the room, that was like a pretty intense part because you didn't know what she was going to find.
Mm-hmm. Are you talking about his room or the basement?
Sorry, the basement, not his room, the basement, when she went into the basement. And then I guess this is going to sound weird, but another favorite part was when the cougar, the wildcat was attacking. I was just like imagining it. I'm like, oh my God, like she's about to die. So just all the intense parts, like I was just like really into. My top three that I did.
Totally remember that part and thinking, oh, she's hallucinating.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Like, obviously we have the whole like thing where she had the concussion, right? And so we're worried about her and like it kind of makes her more of an unreliable narrator in a way because like we can't really judge if she's like seeing things or not seeing things or if she's making things up.
I will say when she was in the doctor's office and he was asking her name and where she was, the fact she had to think about it for a minute, it almost made me think like, is that not her real name? And she's having to remember her fake identity. And it came like full circle later and I'm like, oh, okay. So that was an interesting part too.
I have two minds of that. I think that piece was like kind of like a red herring in a way to like let us know that like something is up with her. But I also think that she was doing that purposefully to make Calvin think that she was like something was up with her or like that she was an easy target kind of thing. Because obviously, as humongous spoiler alert, But as we get to the end and we learn who she is and that she's actually there on purpose, I think that
Mm-hmm.
that like then it like because that all started making me think like, oh my gosh, okay, so that is one I knew that that was coming, but I like that is the like part where I was just like, oh, so was everything real or was everything fake? Were we doing this on purpose or not on purpose?
Yeah.
I think one of my least favorite things about the book was how suspicious she was of everything. And it kind of like took me out of things a little bit because she was suspicious of every single person. And
Yeah.
if like I don't want to say it's not normal for people to be suspicious of everyone they come across because if you have like mental health issues or PTSD or anything like that, like fair. But like also is everyone really afraid of every person they run into? Like the whole gas attendant thing was weird at the beginning and I was like,
Yeah.
all right, girl, I guess like fine, fair. You're a woman in the middle of nowhere. This creepy man's looking at you. I wouldn't have ran off like that, but like
Yeah. I mean, they could have
sure.
definitely followed her. But yeah, that was a little more normal than her being skeptical of everybody. But it almost makes sense why she was because I guess she was almost like wondering, who am I going to have to take out before I leave here?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why.
Yeah. I
Because she did
think
say, she's like, I almost had to take out Albert, but she did that for me. And I was like, okay, damn.
that
So,
was
like, no
also
witnesses.
a crazy scene of finding out that Albert is his uncle.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, because I really expected that it was just going to be some random person or that it was going to be someone he knew, but like not his family. I didn't expect it to be his uncle. So I was very
Yeah.
like, huh? Why are we lying about everything?
Yeah. That was true.
Any other favorite scenes? I
When
mean,
she starts,
obviously,
like, when she starts realizing he's lying, like, whenever she was at the bookshelf and she sees a receipt and she was like, every book is new. And I'm like, oh. And then I started thinking, like, oh, so he knew she was coming. Like, he her. And
he
I was like,
planned.
okay. Yeah, like he planned it. I was like, okay.
I thought it was
No.
also interesting that like she asked him to put in the doorknob and then he puts the doorknob in backwards
Yeah.
and she doesn't realize it until later that it's backwards. But
Mm-hmm.
then she never says anything to him about it.
No, she did though.
Did she say something about it being backwards?
Yeah, she was like, she's like, hey, I noticed that you put the doorknob in, but it locks from the outside. Did you do that on purpose? And she was like, this, I think was the part when she was like, pretty much making him reveal all the secrets. And was like, what about this? What about that? And then she's like, did you do that on purpose? He's like, oh my gosh, no, like, da 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 da. And she thought that was really weird because he's such a handyman. Like, how could he have a mistake?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I thought a lot of the ending scenes where I thought were like some of my favorite parts. Like I really enjoyed when she opened the closet in his room and I was like, "Oh wow. That's
Oh
crazy."
yes. Wait, you're talking about the animals?
The women's heads.
Wait, it was women's heads or it was animal heads?
It was women.
Oh, I don't know why I was thinking it was like I guess I misheard it, but I thought it was animal heads and he named all the animal heads. And
No.
I just thought about because he lives on a farm or whatever. But okay, wow.
Yeah, it was
Interesting.
the women's heads and then there was a plaque for her and then a plaque for the other girl that were
Yeah,
both
I do remember
empty.
that and I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, ooh, naughty, naughty. I was like, okay, y'all are
Yeah.
both creepy.
Creepy weirdo. Kind of already touched on, but were you able to predict the ending?
Definitely not. I definitely thought he was just going to be the creep the entire time, which obviously he was. I didn't think he was so much of a creep. Uh, but when she started like finding out like the the guest book and things like that, I was like, oh yeah, like it's definitely him. Da, da, da. But I was not expecting for her to be like, you shouldn't have come here. Like I didn't expect that one, but I was wondering the entire time because I had read the synopsis and it said like like he was trying to find out things about her or something like that, and I was like
That
it
she was
gave a
hiding
little bit
something
of
from him?
yeah, like she was hiding the reason why she was there, and I was like, are we ever gonna find that out? And then obviously it came, but I was not expecting her to like turn on him as fast as she did. I was like, oh damn, okay. So that was definitely like I was taken aback by that for sure.
Yeah. I will say, like, I predicted it in the sense that, like, I knew there was something up with both of them. And I
Mm-hmm.
even, I actually recorded a part that I ended up removing in, that I'm going to end up removing in the edit, that I was like, I think this would be so funny if it turns out that, like, he's there to get her, but then she's going to get him. Like, just from some of the things that I hear, like, I feel like that would be, like, a really cool ending. And then,
Oh,
and I was like, well,
okay.
I can't put that in the final, like, in the
Yeah,
non-spoiler part of the video, because that's
yeah.
definitely a spoiler. But yeah,
But just sure you didn't know.
yeah, but I didn't know, like, the part that I thought was cool was like, yeah, I could predict who was doing what and all of that. But I thought, like, the extremes of both of them was something
Yeah,
I was not expecting. Like, him
yeah.
having the girls' heads in his closet was not something I was
Ooh,
expecting. Him
yeah.
having the girl still alive in a, like, shed on
In
the
a cage.
property is not what I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I did think she was a little naive to believe that the scream she heard was a fox.
Yeah, I was like, come on, dude. Like, I know that he's the one that put that in her mind, but I was like, did I make that up?
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. But then I also didn't expect for her, like, extremes, right? Like, I didn't expect for her to be like this
She like,
crazy sociopath.
yeah, she like put drugs on the knife that she stabbed him with or something.
She put
And I
drugs
was
in the
like,
coffee.
oh, and the coffee. It was the coffee. Okay. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
on the knife for some reason. But I was like, you drugged him? Like, what? I
I
was like,
yeah.
okay.
I did, I had a feeling she was there for some malicious, suspicious reason. I was thinking that it was going to turn out to be more of a, like, I hunt serial killers kind of thing, and so, like, that was, like, going to be her thing. I don't know if that's really what we're supposed to, like, glean from it or not, that that's kind of her thing, or whether she
Mm.
just likes to murder random people. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, from the very ending when she's like, I like to kill people, I get an itch. I really thought it still meant that she does murder just like bad people.
mhm,
Like she's a serial killer in a sense, but it's only for bad people.
mhm,
But yeah, I mean, her comment didn't really explain it. It didn't say like random people or
mhm,
specific bad people.
yeah. I also, it made me think about the fact that she had sex with this man and then went back home to her husband and kids.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Like,
But
how,
then I kind of thought about maybe that was a way for maybe that was like maliciously a plan to get him like closer to her, like for
mhm,
him to trust her more.
mhm.
And I was like, that's kind of gross though. Like, regardless if you found him attractive or not, like, ew.
That was my
And
thinking too.
she
I
has a whole
was,
husband and kids, and I was like, don't know how you do that. You're a little psychotic, but okay.
which I think that's, like, honestly, I think that's the whole point, is that she's meant to be like a sociopath
Yeah.
or a psychopath kind of personality, which plays
Yeah.
perfectly into the sociopath book that I just read recently. But, like, hearing about, like, her thought and, like, her, like, explanations for things and how she compartmentalized all that stuff and her lack of
Hmm.
attachment and emotion and everything, I was like, oh, this woman's definitely a sociopath. Like, that's what's
Yeah.
happening here.
Yeah. Yeah, I was shocked whenever she. I don't remember where she actually ended up living because it wasn't New York; it was somewhere else.
Yeah, I think she was, like, in Georgia or Atlanta or something crazy.
Yeah, something like that. And then she's like, "And my kids came down," and I was like, "Huh?" I was
Yeah,
like,
not
"You have
only are you
kids?"
married, but you also have two children. And you told one
Great.
of your kids that she could come with you next time. That doesn't sound like
Yeah.
good parenting.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
The last question before our final one is, would you have changed anything about the story? Like, is there any kind of things that you think could have done better or should have done in a different way at all?
I feel like just more hints throughout the book, like giving more like I mean the whole book was intense the entire time, so it's not a bad book at all, but just more little like sprinkles of like what the ending's gonna be,
Mm,
maybe like one or two, three sprinkles. Because that's what I thought is like the whole book built up to like this thing ended up being way crazier, but there was no like I don't know, initiative or sprinkles of anything like
yeah.
that. I'm just like, oh, okay.
I think
That's the only thing. Everything else, I think she was very detailed in everything.
I think that I actually feel the opposite. I
Oh,
feel
less
like
details.
they feel like there was too many details, and that's why I figured it out before we got to the end, because I was like, they're both being suspicious, they're both being weird, they're both being like, they're both lying about things, they're both being creepy about things, and you can tell. And so like for me, that's where I was like, the way that she was behaving, like, okay, perfect scenario, the scene where Albert gets in her bed drunk and she like freaks out, and then the next day she's like having a beer with him on the front porch.
That's
No.
true.
No one's doing that.
No normal woman would do that.
No normal woman would do that. They would stay far away from that man.
Yeah.
Also, he's
No matter
watching
how
her
much
while
he apologized. I'm like,
she's
thanks, but
like
no thanks.
yogaing, and he's like watching her move her body around in the heat of the day or whatever, and I'm just like, we're not just gonna skate over that. There's no woman in her right mind would skate over that stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
I think I would change how many little like hints she dropped for me. But I think one of my biggest critiques, and this is why I don't read thrillers, is because I can predict these things because I've watched too many horror movies. I am
That's
too into the genres. And so I feel like for thrillers, because it's more true crime based, it's easier for me to guess what the ending is going to be in comparison to like, sometimes horrors are more like fantasy driven in the sense that there's like creatures and beings and things like
yeah.
that paranormal entities like that get involved, and so it's a little harder to predict sometimes. But like, this is why I don't read thrillers, because I feel like they're too predictable for me.
Yeah. I guess because I'm like barely getting into the thriller genre, I still can't predict anything. But I'm sure eventually, like, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's gonna probably end like this, or it's like there was two books. I think it's like the housemaid stuff, like the housemaid by Frida McFadden. I'm like already starting to predict like how it's gonna end because I've already read a couple of her books, so I can see that.
Yeah. I think that's one of the like biggest critiques I think for thrillers in general is a lot of people who are thriller readers, the same things are happening a lot of the same books. Like they've got the same tropes, and so they're just kind of doing the same things all the time.
Yeah,
So it's hard to find like those, like once you get into the genre really, like I think this is going to be something you're going to like find that the more deeply you get into it, the more you're going to like realize that, oh, like these same things happen, like these kind of things
yeah,
are similar, and when they're wild out of the box things, that's when you're gonna be like, oh, that was a good one, and that's where your 5 stars are going to start happening instead of just being ones
yeah.
where it's like, oh wow, I didn't even know.
Yeah, you're like, okay, well, I knew. Yeah, that's fair.
Awesome. Well, anything else that you want to add about the book that you wanted to talk about?
I will say one of my other, I guess, favorite commentary parts was when was when Grace, when Charlotte, I guess, came to the house and she was kind of drunk and she was like, trying to stand up to Grace, and Grace is like, not backing down from her. I don't remember the commentary they had, but one of the things that Grace said is, "Oh yeah, when he effed me over there in that pastor," I was like, "Oh damn!" I was like, "You have
Yep.
all your f's have gone out the window." I was like, "Damn, girl."
And I
Like there
thought,
were some parts that I was like, my eyes would like shoot open. I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna do that.
girl,
Interesting."
yes. I was like,
That was.
oh, you just
And
gonna,
Charlotte's like, ah! Like crying like a little girl.
which I felt bad
That
for her in a way too, though, because Grace obviously knows that she's super into him, and
Oh,
she's
for
very
sure.
much into
He
this
said it
guy.
multiple times. She's like, this girl that's obsessed with him.
So I was just kind of like, she's not a girl's girl. That's all I
No,
know.
she's not.
Which,
But also,
hey,
Charlotte's very like, you're not going to take my man. Like, girl, calm down.
I mean, I will say we kind of learned she's not a girl's girl based on the ending as well. When she gets like she lets the other girl who's been captured, she lets her
Oh,
go,
yeah.
and the
She
girl's like,
kicks
take me
her
with you, and she
off.
like kicks her.
I was like, bro, she just was like mangled for like probably 2 weeks or something. You're gonna kick her to the ground and be like, nope. At least drop her off at
No.
the police station or something. Like, give that girl something.
Which
I'm
I think
like,
it's
damn.
interesting though, because she's going to be the only person that's going to be able to connect Grace. Like she's going to be the only person who really knows what she looked like, especially after she's left, because
Yeah.
she'd already dyed her hair and done all the things to prepare herself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Yep.
why she wouldn't have just left the girl in the thing and like made some kind of like gesture about like that she was over there or to go check out that area or something. Like I feel like there's a way she could
Something,
have done
yeah.
that was
Without her seeing her, yeah. I
mm-hmm.
agree. I honestly thought for like a split second she was gonna kill the girl when she found her. I was like, oh hell, don't kill the girl. Like, I know you just killed him, but don't kill, like, she's been trapped. And so she's like, and I think she even said something that was malicious to make me think that. But then she ended up like untying her, and
Yeah.
I was like, don't leave that girl. But no, I mean, overall, like, I like, how do you say her name? Genevieve Rose. I like
Geneva.
her, Geneva. I like her books because they're definitely different than Frida McFadden and the other, I don't know, one or two authors I've read, is because she's so detailed. Like the whole sex scene, I was like, I can just see this. I'm just mentally seeing it in my brain, like what's happening with them. But she's very detailed, and like Frida McFadden's not that detailed at all. And it's just interesting to like see the different thriller authors do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh, one of the horror books that I read the other day had a random sex scene in it too, and I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't expecting, like, it feels like the like romance sex scene stuff, like the smutty sex scenes have now like
Yeah.
infiltrated other genres, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it's whatever. I don't really care that deeply, but I'm also like, you could have warned me that that was going to be there.
Yeah.
But hey, you know. Okay. Well, that's a wrap on You Shouldn't Have Been Here or Come Here. Do you have any other like thriller book recommendations that you want to recommend to anybody?
From that author, yes, I definitely would recommend the two ones I mentioned earlier, the Perfect Divorce and the Perfect Marriage. Those two are really good. I think anyway. I think those are really the only two I've read by her. But those two are really, really good by this author. Obviously, it's like a series, so you have to read The Perfect Marriage before you read The Perfect Divorce. And I think those two are really good. And I will say, without ruining it, you kind of expect what's going to happen, but it still throws you for a loop at the very end. You're like, oh my goodness, I knew it was this person, but like, I didn't think it was like this bad, or I didn't think she went all this way to do all, like the whole explanation at the very end is like, it throws you for a loop for sure. And then you're thinking The Perfect Divorce obviously has the same characters and things like that, but that one throws you for a loop even more.
Yeah.
So those two for sure I recommend.
Hello, I'm here to give you an update on Five Survive. And I'm sorry it's delayed. I'm not feeling great. I have a really bad headache and my body's aching. I'm just not feeling great today. So I didn't record any like B-roll of me reading or any updates before I got this far, but this is where I'm at. I've already read all of this today. It's really good. To say the least, if that's not obvious. I am really enjoying this one. Essentially, what we are learning is we're following our main character, Red, and Red is on a road trip with her 5 friends. Technically, 3 of them are actually her friends, and the other 2 are a significant other and a friend of a friend. So it's Red, her best friend, Maddie, Maddie's brother, Oliver, his girlfriend, Raina, their mutual friend, Scott? Is that his name? I can't remember. I think it's Scott. And then a friend of a friend, Arthur. And they're all going on this road trip. They're going on spring break. They've all known each other. Well, Maddie and Red have been best friends since they were little. Maddie's mom and Red's mom were like friends from school days, and so they've always known each other. We again are following everything from Red's perspective. It is an hour by hour breakdown of the situation, and based off the synopsis, we already know kind of what happens, but they're in an RV to go to spring break. Instead of flying, they decided to take an RV, and it would be cheaper and easier, so they just decided to do it that way. and they're going to a halfway point where they're going to stop at a campground and then continue on the next day. They're trying to find the halfway point campground, and something happens to the RV, it breaks down, and they are stranded in the middle of nowhere. They have no cell phone service, and they can't reach anyone. There's no one around. They're trying to fix the RV, and then they realize this actually wasn't an accident, because as they're trying to fix the RV, they fix one tire that busts. They fix it, and then they're about to like get in the RV to turn around, and as they're turning around, all 4 tires go out. And they realize that at first they think they ran over something and they don't understand what's going on, and then we realize someone's actually shooting at the RV, and that's basically the whole premise of where we're following from there. So for 8 hours, we're following them as they try to escape or figure out who's targeting them, and trying to understand what the reason for them being targeted is. It's very, very good. We are like learning a lot about our main character Red and the things she's gone through and some of her background and her life. Her life is so sad. It kind of, not really, but it kind of also is like, it's funny that this video is dedicated to my best friend, Kelly. This might be TMI, and I'll have to ask her if I can leave this in or not, but Kelly lost her mom at a very young age, and Red also loses her mom at a very young age. And so it's very interesting how that is happening. And there's a part, I bring all that up to say that there's a part in here where her best friend Maddie basically tells people not to like bring up her mom. Like, don't talk about our mom, don't talk about any moms, don't complain about your mom, don't complain about your life around her, because she's got it, like all of these things, right? And it kind of reminds me of my best friend and like the things that she went through, and it makes me curious too of like how she felt going through those things as a young girl, and how people reacted to that kind of messaging. I never shied away from it, and I think it's very interesting that her best friend is like, don't bring it up, just don't bring it up, and don't talk about anyone's moms ever. And like a way that she's like trying to protect her friend, but it's also like, yeah, but you're also keeping her from being able to express her feelings or talk about something. If she can't even talk to her best friend, like that's crazy. You can't even talk to your best friend about the loss of your mother, and she's treating you like you're such a fragile little being. Like, I don't know, it makes me very sad. So all that to say, we follow Red, and it's the whole book is narrated from Red's perspective. Obviously we have dialogue from the other characters, and we're trying to all figure out what's going on and why this is happening. And we learn that someone has a secret, and we need to figure out what that secret is so that the rest of us can make it out of this alive. It's been very interesting, the secrets, because everyone has a secret, right? So everyone's divulging something, and they're trying to figure out like whose secret is like the big secret and whose secret's the big reveal. So it's been very interesting to figure out and to see how that's playing out. I don't know, I'm very much enjoying it. It's a very good read. I think it's a very quick read. Once we get into the RV breaking down, everything goes like times 10 speed. Like everything just like we run through a lot of things very quickly. So it moves very fast, which I like, because this is a thriller and it's high stakes. I want it to feel like we're having to go through a lot, you know? So yeah, I'm in the last stretch of the book. I'm on page 320, and there is 368 pages, I believe. Sorry, 386 pages. So we only have 60-ish pages left to read. So I'm excited to see how this is going to end, and what the secret is, and what the big thing is. Because I still don't know this far in. I still don't know what it is. We think we know, but I don't think that's it. I think there's something else. So I'm very excited. I'm loving this. I do recommend it if you like fast-paced thriller, if you like something, it's like really popcorn thriller in my opinion. Like it's a very like easy, digestible, quick kind of read. If you like Holly Jackson, if you liked Good Girl's Guide to Murder, I think you'll definitely like this. It's very much her style, but I think it's really cool the way that she has it broken up in chunks by the hours, because you forget about that until like the next title hour comes in and you're like, oh crap, yeah, we're doing this for 8 hours. So anyway, that's my update. I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I will be finishing this not tonight because it's already 9:45 and I need to go to bed. I'm so tired. But I will finish it tomorrow morning probably. And then we can get started on A Flicker in the Dark. I'm very excited for that one. So far, my feelings around this book, it's feeling like a 4-star. It feels like a 4-star. If the ending is blows me away, then we could bump up. But I have to see how that ending goes to determine if this is going to be a 4, 4.5, or a 5. Or maybe the ending's bad. Who knows? I don't want that for me, but you never know. So anyway, that's my update. I will catch back up with y'all in the morning. I need to go my happy butt to bed because I feel like I've been ran over and smashed by a truck. So I'll see y'all in the morning. Well. Look who is a liar yet again. I'm not intentionally lying to you guys. I just can't ever sleep. I ended up finishing 5 Survive last night. This book is not what I expected. The ending was not what I expected at all. It's not what I expected, and for me, not in a great way. I won't say it was bad because it wasn't. I will say that it is not the story I thought I was getting for whatever reason. This is very Law and Order coded. That's the best way I can put this without giving away the story if you want to read it. And that's not what I expected because there's no mention of that in the synopsis whatsoever. So it was kind of like, oh, interesting. It was interesting. That's what I have to say. I finished it. I did appreciate parts of the ending. We have like a little bit of a romance, if you will, and that was kind of cute and nice and things, but the way that it ended also, it wrapped up things, so that was nice. I like that we got a nice bow on what happened to everyone, but the way that it ended also kind of left it in a cliffhanger, and the ending is from a different POV than our main character Red. And so that was kind of like, oh, like, why are we doing that? It was kind of odd to me how it was ended. I think it was fine in the way that it was done, but like also I wanted something else. But it was good, it was fine. I ended up rating it 4 stars because, like I said, it is a popcorn thriller to me. I went through this very quickly. I read this in a day, literally, less than 24 hours. It was, I think, less than 12 hours. So it was a good book. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't my favorite by any means. But I really do like Holly Jackson. I think she's a good, I guess considered potentially a young adult author. I'm not really sure because this does read young adult to me. It doesn't read adult because we are following like kids on spring break. So, and high school spring break at that, not college spring break. So anyway, that's that. Pick it up if you're interested. We are finally moving on to A Flicker in the Dark. I'm most excited for this, and I'm hoping that this is going to be the best one of all of them, and that this will be the 5-star that I've been waiting on. But again, something I am learning, and I mentioned this already, is that for thriller books, they're not really my thing. I'm not really a thriller book girl because I can see through things too easy. And I don't like that. I don't want it to just be like, oh, there's the answer, and I already saw it coming, you know? Like with horror stuff, you can't always tell what's happening because there could be any number of things, because we also involve like paranormal in horror most of the time, or creatures of some sort, right? So it's kind of a Wild West world for horror. But thrillers, it's always very like stereotypical. It's very like, typically it's very true crimey in a way. And I feel like there's only so many tropes, you know? There's only so much you can do and it'd be surprising and shocking and no one know what's going on in a good way at that. So anyway, all that to say, we'll be starting A Flicker in the Dark today. I won't be starting this until after work because I obviously haven't started it. And as I've said before, I like to read the chapters while I'm listening to the audiobook. I do have the audiobook from my library for this one. So while I'm listening to it, I want to read the first few chapters until I get into the setting and I understand the premise and everything that's going on. And then once we have that, then I can listen to it outside of just holding the book. But that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. I'm hoping that this goes well. And I'll see y'all later with an update. All right. Not really sure what happened here. But unfortunately, my audio is gone for this clip. So I don't actually know what I was saying here. I know that I was reviewing the book as a whole. I had already gotten almost 50% of the way in. I know that much that I remember. And I don't really remember what I was trying to tell y'all about what was happening. I think I remember telling you the synopsis again. We're following Chloe, and she was a child, and we have some flashbacks from when she was young to present day, going back and forth. And I remember talking about just what happened, but honestly, I don't remember what this entire clip said. So ultimately, my initial feedback that I believe that from what I can remember, is I enjoyed the book. It's going well. I like the flashback from past to present. I wish there was a clearer distinction on what was past and what was present, because there was a part where I got confused and thought it was the past, but it actually was the present. So all that to say, I was enjoying the book. I did think it was good, and I think it was going well at this time. I felt like I knew where we were going and where the ending was heading. I had some inklings about what was going to be happening at the end, and some spoiler thoughts, because I did in fact have an accurate guess in this book as well. I didn't have all the details, but I did have an accurate understanding of what was happening in the book. So that's pretty much my thoughts on how it was going and what was happening. And then in the next clip that you're about to see, it's going to be me and Kelly talking about this book before I finished it. And then the ending of this video will just be my final thoughts on the book after I've read it. So let's just jump into that. Okay, do you want to do like a brief synopsis of your feelings on A Flicker in the Dark?
We can. I'm gonna have to try to like go back in my brain and remember it, but yes, I remember for the most part.
I am currently, I'm 42% of the way in, so I'm almost halfway. I am at chapter 20 right now. I don't know how much of this I can say without spoiling it for people, but she just left the police station to see someone.
She left the police station. Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like trying to point him in the right direction type of thing.
Yeah.
I can't remember who she's going to go see.
Either way.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes.
It's okay. It's okay.
It just came to my brain. Yes. So, yeah, she's trying to point him in the right direction because that's what she believes. And now she's going to go see someone else. But the ending of this book is definitely like, I was not expecting it for sure.
Okay.
The last couple of chapters, you're like starting to kind of think about it. And you're like, wait a minute. Because like to me, the whole time in the book, I was like, is it this person? And then like that person gets eliminated. And you're like, okay, maybe it's this person. And then that person gets eliminated. And you're like, damn, like you're just like the process of elimination through this whole book. But the very ending, I was not expecting for sure. But I did like the book. I can't remember let me see what rating I gave this book. I gave this book a 4-star.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave it a 4-star. And I feel like maybe my ratings are not that accurate just because like I think that was the second book that fourth book that I read. Mm-hmm. But obviously I was like getting into the genre of thrillers and stuff, and I don't think I really like comparing like the 4 books I had already read. I'm like, oh, I think it's a 4-star. Mm-hmm. But I did like it. I liked it a lot. I liked the twists and stuff like that and the different things that would come about, and you're just like, oh my goodness. But yes.
So far I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it. I do have my suspicions already of who I think it is and what's going on. So I'm interested to see if that's what ends up happening. Essentially, for people who don't know what this book is about, we're following Chloe. And when she was a teenager, her dad was arrested for murder of a bunch of girls in their town. And now she's an adult and she's a psychologist. And recently, some girls have started going missing. And there's suspicion that, all this time, like, what's going on? Could it potentially have something to do with her? Is it a copycat? Like, what's really going on? And that's kind of just like the premise of the book. And so far I've gotten to the like missing girls parts, and that's where I'm at in the present day. I really like that the book does the like past and future thing.
Yes, I definitely like that as well.
I find that I like books that do that a lot. I like the time jump stuff. Especially when it's clear. I will say there are some times where I'm getting confused on what's a time jump and what's a right now thing. One of the things that the first person who went missing and like the thing that she was participating in, I didn't realize that was present day. I thought it was like when she was a kid and she was helping them back when she was a kid look for these girls. So I was very confused for a second until it recently came back up with this next person that's gone missing. And I was like, oh, that was the present. So it is a little confusing, but it's also because I'm not reading the book physically. So I know that it tells you like, at least the audiobook does. It tells you when it's a past situation. This book doesn't actually look like the chapters say anything about past or present. So I guess you're just supposed to discern that from.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, because it says 2019. It's just the months. So we're just showing that we're like in May and then we're in June and then we're in July. Like I think that's all it's going to tell us. Title pages. But yeah, my suspicion so far, and I'm not going to look at you while I say this because I don't want your face to give it away. So far, my suspicions are, I think it's either going to be the husband, fiance, or her brother. Those are my two guesses right now because of how suspicious they're behaving and the situations that they're dealing with. Yeah. But that's just my like right now guess. Obviously there's only like three men characters anyway that we can like glean from because we've met the fiance, the brother, and then we've met the journalist.
Yes, yeah.
And those are the only people that we know of. So I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going to happen, how it's going to play out. It is very true crimey.
Yes, it really is.
It kind of reminds me of like Lovely Bones in a way, as a like horror thriller movie from a while back. It kind of reminds me of that vibe because of the past and present, but I will say it's not like a. Lovely Bones is more of like a narration from a person who's already passed away. So like she's narrating her own story.
Interesting.
It is a book. It is a book and it's a movie. So you can look into that one if you want.
I'm gonna look into that one.
You know from the jump that that's what's happening too, so I didn't spoil anything.
Okay. She says, I'm dead.
It starts off that way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it so far, so hopefully it stays good.
Yeah. I think you're the one that recommended A Flicker in the Dark. Yeah,
I did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah, it's one I've had. This was the Book of the Month finalist for 2022, and I've had this since like 2024. And I'm just now reading it, so it is what it is. But
I will say I do recommend, I just thought about it, Never Lie. Never Lie by Frida McFadden. That's the other one that I gave it 5 stars. That one was a whole freaking twist at the end. Like a whole like, wait a minute, what? And you're like having to like really rethink the whole book after you find out. You're like, no. And you're like, oh. That one for sure I recommend.
Okay. I know you're on like a Frida McFadden journey. So is that like her top book for you so far?
Right now, yes. Like the Housemaid series is really good. Obviously, like it's the same people. It's kind of not the same concept, but almost the same concept. Mm-hmm. But Never Lie, I would say. I give the Housemaid a 5-star as well. But Never Lie, yeah. Like I think it's even better than the Housemaid series. The Housemaid series is really good so far. But Never Lie, I really liked it, and I really liked how you didn't even think about like anything until the very end. You're like, I never thought about that. Like it just, you're just listening to it. So that one I definitely recommend. Other ones that I've read from her, like The Surrogate Mother, that one's really good. I gave that one like a 4.5. The first two books that Angel recommended to me was Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera and then None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I started with those two books and even went with those authors, and they're pretty good as well. But I think my favorite two authors right now are this author and Freida McFadden. Okay. I like the way they twist and do everything in their books.
Good to know. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and opinions on our books. And I will keep you updated on my final thoughts on Flicker in the Dark. I'm
please
hoping that I'm going to finish it tonight. If not, I will finish it tomorrow. But yeah.
Okay, cool.
Well, thanks for coming on my channel and for talking to me about books. I appreciate it. And anytime. Yeah, I think that's it. So cut back to me actually reading. All right, y'all, it's the end of the video. This is my final review of A Flicker in the Dark. I finished it last night around midnight. This was interesting. I think, again, I feel like my feedback is always going to be pretty similar for thriller books, in the sense that, like, if you don't read a lot of thrillers or you don't watch a lot of like suspense things or horror things, then these probably are going to be great for you. Myself, I have a lot of background in like true crime thriller things that the tropes have troped, and I know them, most of them. And so like getting started in a book, I can kind of start picking things out here and there. And I'm like, oh, I think I know where this is going. So I say all that to say, I didn't exactly get what was happening until we got closer to the end. But I did have like an idea of what was going on in the beginning, where I was like, I think that this was someone else. And I think that this was something else. And I kind of pieced it together without actually knowing where it was going. Anyway, that was my final thoughts on it. I like I said, I think it is a good, and like the ending, it wasn't as like revolutionary to me as the Jennifer Rose book was. So again, I kind of guessed where it was going in the very beginning and had an idea of like what actually was going on, and I was proven correct by the ending. There were other pieces that I didn't know, and then the characters were all suspicious. Everyone in this story was just suspicious from the beginning. And then I think that's pretty much it. Like, I think it was a good book for the most part. I ended up giving it 4 stars. So that's where we'll end with this book. I hope y'all enjoyed my thriller vlog and my little review time with Kelly. If y'all have any other thrillers that you think I should read that aren't as predictable as like these popcorn thrillers are, I would appreciate some recommendations for people who are like avid thriller readers and you love thriller books. What are some good thrillers that like you couldn't guess, or you thought was just like it was done really well and you hadn't like seen something like that before? Like, I really would like stories like that. So let me know in the comments, and if you've read any of these books, let me know your thoughts. Would you read any of these books? Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe down below. We would love to have you in our little bookish area of the internet, and I will talk to y'all in my next video. Bye.